Hello everyone and welcome to another Cosmic Crone conversation with me, Marie.
And me, Tina.
As promised from our last podcast, we're doing the moon today and just some different aspects of thoughts on the moon, how it interacts with the earth, in life in general. And today we are in the village of Sazliku in northern Cyprus, and in one of the beautiful churches that have been restored, haven't they? Absolutely beautiful view, and that. Hopefully you'll come and visit us one day.
I'll show you the pics at the end, because unfortunately all we can show is the brick wall, which is a lovely brick wall. But it's
lovely, very nice.
We can't go inside because there's no natural light. There's tiny windows. It would have been lovely, and we haven't got the lighting.
We'll show you.
Unfortunately, this is what you get.
No problem. And we're not very far from the TRNC.
Animal Rescue Family,
where all the dogs are on the land, and you can be part of a fantastic situation by helping us get to. We're a bit low on food, don't we?
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind donating whatever you can, anything, to PayPal.
SOS Dogs 2017 at outlook.com.
And we mean it, and we say it on every podcast. So please be generous, whatever you can afford. Right, back to the moon. That was a Duran Duran song, wasn't it? New moon on Monday.
And it's Monday.
Oh, it is Monday that we're recording this.
It's not a new moon.
No.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to talk about conspiracies that the moon is artificial. Conspiracies that the moon is artificial. I need to get my new teeth, don't I? I wrote a book. God, I'm getting everything wrong. I have wrote a book, actually. I wrote some novels, but not about the moon. I read a book. It was a long time ago. It's probably about at least 10 years ago. And it was called Who Built the Moon? By a couple of English guys.
You know, a lot of this moon situation today I don't know about.
The weird thing was, I bought it at this Mind, Body, Spirit Festival in London. I think it's at Covent Garden. And I read the whole book. Yeah, I thought it was great. And then the conclusion, I got to the end of the book and the last 2 pages were missing. And I thought, isn't that weird? Don't you think that's weird in itself? Like, so never got to know their conclusion. But then I was Googling the moon, and then, you know, at the end of it, they said there's so much, there's more to say that it's artificial than there is to say that there's more evidence.
Okay, so somebody went up there like Blue Peter presenters and put sticky back plastic.
Well, no,
what is it? What you mean by artificial?
So the thing is, they say it's a planetoid, which is it's a natural body, but somehow it was brought there. I don't know how. Obviously, alien technology would.
Oh, you mean from the future? No, alien technology from.
No, from dimensional.
Right, okay.
Would be able to take it from one space and put it to another.
I'm with you, because I thought, from what I'd known in general I thought was there an explosion and it was a piece that.
Well, the thing was as well, there's a lot of evidence that says it's like 1 million years older than the Earth, which doesn't make sense because moons would have formed after the planet was born.
This is interesting,
so that to me was like, okay. And also that it's hollow. It's really hollow here, actually. It's echoing because of the church.
I don't know if the mic's picking it up,
Yeah. And there are arguments about it being hollowed out, and that
It's got to be
there are
conspiracies because
aliens
has
on it, or
anybody
maybe
gone
there's
into it? Do you get me?
apparently the astronauts, I presume, on the Apollo mission, they were drilling into one of the craters and they couldn't. They just like couldn't drill in, and apparently as well, the metals that are on that planet are manufactured metals like brass and titanium. There's a titanium, I think it's like 236. Oh, uranium, sorry. So them type of metals are not found naturally. They're made. So why are they on that planet? I mean, on that
Or
moon.
are they? Because is this a conspiracy?
No, this is what they've found. Science has found, and there's even been 2 Russian scientists that have come to the conclusion
That.
that it's not natural,
Hmm?
like it was put there. And through history, there's been various civilizations that have spoke about before we had the moon, and the theory is that the Great Flood, because it's been in so many cultures about the flood, you know, even the Bible, obviously, but a lot older than when they said it was, that it happened when the moon came. Because when this planet formed, it was all water. So what happened when the moon obviously brought the tides, didn't it?
Right.
So then there would have been
Because,
a
yeah, the
great,
ebb and the flow and the
a great
magnetic, yeah.
flood. I presume, like, you know, it's taken millions of years, isn't it, that it would recede, that the land would be formed and the plants, and then apparently it wiped out most of civilization, that flood. But a lot of them say it's when the moon appeared,
Right,
when
this
it
is the first time I'm
came.
hearing some of this, like, in general.
Yeah, even the Greek philosopher Aristotle, there's a reference that he says when there was no moon, and the cataclysm being the flood
Okay.
that wiped
And you know
out
the metals that
civilization.
are there? Have you any history or research or anything that before it came? How do we know it wasn't? What, you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
When
because
did it come there? I'm trying to.
it would have
The
been
metals.
the metals. Well, it's what the planet's made of, and it's natural
So wherever it was
minerals.
made, are you saying to me wherever the theory, wherever it was made, it was made with those things in it, and then brought there?
It wasn't made. It's a natural phenomenon. That's my favourite word, isn't it? Do you know, like other planets, yeah, have got, we call them moons, but then they're actually natural satellites. That's what they
Yes,
call.
that's
The
what they
moon
call
is
the
a
moon.
satellite,
Yeah.
but because our moon was the first one we knew of before telescopes, it was called the moon.
Really is
So,
hard to imagine that there wasn't a moon.
and the
You know.
synchronicity with the moon, I mean, we never see the dark side of the moon, and
Well, you won't because it's on the other side.
but any other
But there
planet
wasn't.
with moons,
Right.
the way that it goes, it's
Keep going.
so sort of, you know, exact to the point. Like when there's an eclipse, it's the exact size. The
Right.
sun becomes the exact size of the moon in relation to where it is.
So I've got down in my notes about natural satellite millions of years after formation of the solar system. Right. I've got it's in sync with the rotation of the Earth, so the same side is facing the Earth.
Yeah,
That's why you don't see it.
yeah, because it
The
will
moon is
be
moving
a
away
new
from the
moon.
Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But
So
as far as I know, there's no other planet in the universe, as
right.
far as we know,
Please,
that
we ask and we
has them natural satellites and the size.
right.
It's a
Please give
huge
us a comment
size.
on anything you know about the moon. Okay.
Mm.
Really, please do.
So that's another one. Even Zulus say that ETs brought it here.
That's it. I've got it here.
Yeah.
Dark side of the moon is a myth because like it's all spooky. It's not that. It's just you don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see it. But again, there's more conspiracies, and I've done
The only thing I can be very certain of in the whole of this conversation is that Bella La Luna means beautiful moon. because I learnt that in Moonstruck with Cher.
And I've got a dog called Luna.
And a dog called Luna. And a dog called Pluto.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I was looking, because I'd written it down to not dispel or anything. It was just to say the way it moves. You never see it, so it's not the dark side, it's just the back end. I'm not.
yeah,
It
it's
is,
called
isn't
the dark
it?
side because we never see it. And there's conspiracies, going back to
Yeah.
conspiracies, that there are aliens watching us from the moon, and that's their bases. And there have been,
How
you
did?
know, like how far do you go on YouTube and stuff?
Oh
What
God.
find out what's real? I always research from where they get their information from. You know, if I watch
Yeah,
a
if they mention a
video,
book or something,
I
or
will go
yeah.
and research it more.
Well, yeah. The other thing is,
And obviously, I have done remote viewing,
yeah,
and that shit me up. It did,
it messed you about, did it?
because I
You want
did
to?
see
Yeah,
aliens on there,
yeah,
and I wasn't meditating or anything. I was just walking the dogs, and I looked up at the moon because we see it in daylight, don't we?
yeah.
You know, and then I sort of let the dogs have a run, and I just stood there for a minute, closed my eyes, and I had the intention to do it. Went bang, and then bang. It's sort of like I jumped closer and closer, and then I was literally standing there, and they was all there, and they was like greys and reptilian type things, and with vehicles, and there was like these domey, earthy looking natural buildings that looked like they were more underground, and that was just the top where you go in. But they all stopped what they were doing and turned around and looked at me. And I
Oh,
was
and they
like,
stopped, didn't
oh,
they? Yeah.
yeah, because they sensed that I was there. And then I just, boom, I just came back down to earth. Like, and yeah, that was weird. That was scary stuff.
Was this on the moon?
But I
I
believe
mean, we're not talking about it today, but I'd like to talk about it another time. You know, the different, what they call each moon. Like recently we had a strawberry moon,
Oh,
didn't we?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
want to go
It's the
into a little
colour,
bit,
isn't
just a
it?
bit of, when I say
Yeah.
a bit of fun, I just want to have a look, like, you know, what was it, blue moon and
Yeah.
things like that, you know. Well, we'll have a look at that another time.
So,
But
regardless,
has it got no atmosphere?
do you know, I've read that it hasn't got an atmosphere, but then I've also read that it's got a very, very thin atmosphere, but it's not magnetic
No
like
sound?
Earth is.
No sound?
There wouldn't be without. You know,
Just
if it's like the vacuum of space, there wouldn't be.
solar winds?
But the thing is, another thing, yeah,
And
this is it as well. Nothing seems to really affect it, and all the craters are the same size. Yeah, that's another strange
okay,
thing.
it says there's huge temperature variations. It's unprotected from cosmic rays.
Due to what?
Due to nothing. I said solar winds, huge temperature variations. It's unprotected from cosmic
cosmic.
rays.
So high radiation then.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
how
understand.
would, I mean, if that was real, then if that was true, how would astronauts have actually? I know that there's this conspiracy
Yeah,
that they didn't. Do you know? I don't know. I think they went there. I think there's been.
I think they went. I think they've been up there, right? But
I think technology is a lot more advanced than what we see. You know, when you see the pictures in, was it 1968, 69, when they went to the moon and space, and you see these silly little things covered in foil with the buttons and everything. I think that's for us. I think beyond that,
yeah,
technology is a lot more
could it just be
advanced.
that it was fake?
What, that they didn't go? A lot of people said, yeah, they can't. They can't go into
There are
space.
things that you
But
see, and you go, hey,
do you know, I've also read now that they've realised that the atmosphere of Earth goes right out to the moon. It's not space. It is, but it isn't, because it thins out over thousands of miles. There's not a line that's like, okay, that's the end of the atmosphere, and you know.
there's a vacuumous like alley up to the moon or something.
Yeah, so
No, seriously,
the atmosphere is wider than what we think.
It says that the moon is smaller than the moons of Jupiter and Saturn.
it's smaller.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Where did I get my info from? It's probably Toys R Us.
Yeah,
Us.com.
so,
But in the 1950s, apparently, the USA considered detonating a nuclear bomb on the moon.
right, yeah, but going back to saying it's smaller,
Oh, okay.
but then what planet? Jupiter. Have you seen how big Jupiter is?
I was going to
in
say,
relation
would
to
it?
the Earth? Yeah.
That's what I was just
On a
about to ask
scale.
you. Yeah, it depends. Where is it? You know,
Yeah.
the longevity
Yeah.
of and how big and well,
Yeah. So what I looked was like on the scale, our moon is the biggest in relation to our planet. There's no other planets
right.
with something so large. And obviously it's got a tidal lock, which means its rotation exactly matches the orbit.
That
Like
we're in.
so, yeah, like
Yeah,
you know, when it goes around, that's why we never see
the
that
other side.
Yeah.
And it says on the that the sky appears black because everybody, you know, when they said they went to the moon, they went, "Where's the stars?"
Mm.
Remember,
Yeah,
I'm
but
open-minded.
when you take a picture of space, like when you take a picture of the night sky, you don't see the stars on your camera.
Not all the time, no.
Never do.
Don't you?
No. No, you never get them. It's very hard to take a picture of the moon with a normal camera. I can't see how you see stars.
I haven't seen like a mass blanket, but if there was a very
Bright,
shiny
which is
satellite,
probably a satellite.
yeah.
But then also another thing, still on this conspiracy of it not being real. Technically, our spin should throw the moon into a mad counter spin.
Sorry, it's probably a pigeon. Sorry, I heard something in there. Sorry, continue.
Okay. Yeah, because on our other podcast we did another church.
The last podcast,
Yeah.
when you watch it on YouTube, in between me and Tina, there is a picture of a lady on the wall, and
we never knew, and someone pointed it out to us. So have a look at our last one,
please.
which was about predictions.
I wasn't being a girly then. It's
Yeah.
just I thought I heard something inside.
So if we didn't have the moon,
Yeah,
the planet would be on a wobble, like an unsteady gravitational pull. So that being there, it's like a fluke. It's like,
is it our anchor?
yeah, type of thing. Yeah.
Do you know, I do feel clever sometimes. I never thought of that before. No, is it our kind of anchor? Is it adjusting us to how things move in the app? No? No?
Yeah. Carry on.
No, I don't know anymore.
What did you say?
Was you with?
Sorry,
hello, are you with me?
No, I'm looking at my other notes.
It's just no, sorry, darling. What I meant was, you know, is it there like as like a tow truck? No, seriously, you know, when you're towing something, and you might move that way, and the tow goes that way, goes to another point. Doesn't always
like a trailer.
a trailer. Sorry, yeah, that you have to be skilled at using the trailer because it moves in different ways.
Whatever it is, if it's real or not, it still affects us, doesn't it, in different ways? When you think about, like it affects the tides, whether it's real or not.
That's why I said the ebb and flow.
What it does, yeah. Whether it was put there or it
temperature,
is natural.
you know, more nautical area of our planet. You know, the water.
Yeah.
It seems to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if when doing navigational systems on the ships in the old days, they took into consideration the stars, the position of the moon. You know, it does have a.
And our bodies are 60% water.
Yeah.
And the brain and the heart are 73% water. So you can see how it would affect us. Because if it affects the tides.
What did I just say? Yeah.
It affects the tides of water, then why wouldn't it affect our body of water? Which it does, because obviously if it's saying the heart and the brain, people do go a bit mental, don't they? And
you mean strange?
Animals go a bit doolally, don't they? And people have done weird things. Apparently more babies were born.
Look, if that's the case, then it's our health that it affects.
Yeah.
It's a good segue.
Mental health,
behaviours change. and I'm not saying violent, because behaviours don't have to be interchangeable. I mean, it could be your sleeping pattern.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate where the headboard of my bed, and most times the sun is in the one position when I go to bed, and I literally look up.
Yeah.
I do
It's beautiful,
I
whatever
do
it
have a look,
is.
and I say, okay, whatever you think of me, I do say good night. Watch over me, and I do. That's me. That's a very
Maybe
personal
they are
thing.
watching over us.
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
observing.
I mean, an ancient tablet from 17. Oh, I'm going to say it like this: 172 BCE. I know what that is.
Do you
It's like
know
a
they
C
changed it? I think when I was a kid, it was
BC
BC,
AC
AD,
AD.
Anno Domini, in it. I think,
Yeah,
yeah. But I don't know where the E came from.
it's probably European Union. It describes how this tablet describes how to ward off evil, and the effects of the lunar eclipse, which were believed to threaten the life of the king, in that era. So in ancient Greece and Rome, girls were given a crescent shaped amulet on their birthdays to protect them from evil spirits. And then the women, when obviously older ladies, they wore them to improve fertility and protection using childbirth. So this thing about the moon, it keeps coming back to like being creative of moods. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you look
Like
at
being
our
good,
menstrual,
feeling free,
our
and
menstrual cycle's 28 days, roughly 28 days. And exactly the same as the moon cycle is 28 days. And they say we sink.
I agree and disagree. Yes, I get that. Absolutely, I can understand that. But there's billions of women on the planet, and
Yeah.
not everybody has the same.
No, they don't, because they're on different sides of the planet.
Thank you. So I said that to
Yeah.
somebody the other day, and they went, "Oh yeah," but you see, she's
It's not
clever.
everybody at the same time, because they don't see,
See, when people try and
yeah,
dispel
different
it,
hemispheres, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
In the 16th century, tracking the moon's position was an essential part of medicine. Apparently, a chart, they said, would determine how the moon affected patients. There is, look it up. There is a chart that they used. So it sort of like went like this. I don't know what it was made of, but there is some examples, and I think it's pronounced Vovel or Volel. It's a rotating paper discs, all manner of medical boo-hoo, whatever they wanted to find out. Hinduism, the god Chandra changes the faces of the moon, is believed to be closely aligned with ladies' times, or a period of sickness and health issues, basically. Greek word. I remember when we was talking about the word. We're going back to ladies'
Luna.
times. No, the ladies' times. Warning, we're talking about ladies' menstrual cycles now. Is that the Greek word? Would you say that was
What's that mean?
mean? Yeah, it MENE, like mene or men. It's a word that goes together with something else. There's a Latin for month, which is menesis. It says provides a root of menstruation term. The word.
That's where it comes from,
Yeah.
menstrual cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, coming to the word, which is not often used at all now, but lunatic. And that word was associated with the behaviour of mental illness, wasn't it? Or things they didn't know what was going on for people. But called the tides of the mind. You know, see, tides, water.
Yeah.
Remember what you just said, right? And the brain's high water content.
It is, yeah, 73%.
And it would affect. I'll say the word violent behaviour or behaviour not becoming of the person normally, because that's how I feel sometimes. Somebody could be really agitated and, you know, throw something. Doesn't mean they're violent. It means their mood has changed. Yeah, because lunatic, like you've said. But they say that a study in 2019, there's no connection, they say this, no connection between the moon, crime, suicides, or mental health hospital admissions. But wait, but wait. In 2007, right, despite the lack of scientific evidence, still the police in Brighton announced that they would be putting more officers on duty to counteract the increase in violent incidents when it's a full moon. Go figure. There is something in it.
My partner worked in prison, didn't he, in UK, and he said on a full moon they were like all security were already, you know, for an active night.
Yeah, a build up of tension or things like that. I was going to say, hand in hand with that, I worked in a care environment, in different care environments, and sometimes the conversations would be, let's say, calling Derek had an outburst of frustration or something like that, or did something that they weren't usually alert to do. It was out of character. And the next day when you did handover, oh, Derek did this, and somebody would go, it was a full moon. But people won't let you, in authority, they won't let you usually use that.
No, it's not scientific, is it?
As a reason. But sometimes there was a build-up within people, I believe, the water, the brain, all this, the ebbing and the flowing of emotions and skills that they might not normally have, that they had at that time. You know, a skill of dressing themselves that don't normally happen. Now you might say, what are you talking about? But this has changed somebody's reaction in their brain that is stimulating something else. It's not always about violence. I'm sorry, I'm going to use air quotes, violence. It's about a change of behaviour, a change of vocabulary, it could be as well. But we're just getting to the same thing, that when that full moon happens, anything we're saying, there's a change. There is a concept that something is happening to you. So I believe it totally. I do.
I mean, that really takes us on to what we were talking about with spells.
Yeah.
As witches doing the different spells for different moon phases.
Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink.
I do use the moon for spells.
I've actually written down to portray. It was a pigeon.
Up there,
to just give very quickly some things on each part of the moon cycle.
Yeah, so, obviously you've got.
It's very exciting. Just wait.
Yeah, so you've got your waxing and your waning, wax on, wax off, isn't it? Yeah, so waning is when it's going to be a new moon and waxing is coming into a full moon. So the processes, different ones. I would do, on like a full moon. I always say like full moon is an ending, and then it starts becoming.
Shall I go through it and then see what you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. What shall I do? Yeah, go through it. Right. So new moon.
Yeah.
You might be able to expand.
Yeah.
New moon. It's intentions for the month ahead. New projects. Sowing seeds for new endeavours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a new moon.
Yeah. Waxing crescent. phase of building energy to take action with new moon, and your intention is to gather resources and build momentum. Is this like coming into how you would use the moon in a spell?
Yeah.
Okay, the first quarter is half the moon is illuminated, but stay resilient, confront obstacles, and stay committed to goals.
I've not used it for anything like.
Oh,
I've not used that.
it's good to know, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, and the waxing,
Yeah.
is it
Gibbous?
gibbous? It is. Is a phase of refinement and adjustment. This is where you would tweak plans and refine goals and make changes if necessary to your approach. Now, what I'm getting to is we're at wax gibbous, it's fourth, halfway through. Do you get me? So that's what it's getting to you. Another moon, it says the full moon, because that was the new moon. Right, this is fully illuminated, and it says bathe in it, bathe in the glow of it.
And you know, on a full moon as well, you can like cleanse your crystals,
crystals,
cleanse water,
forgot all about
drink
that.
it. Yeah, you can put your water under the full moon.
You haven't clicked that, didn't you?
Drink it.
Well, that's good, because it says celebrate your achievements, perform gratitude rituals, and assess growth since the new moon. Right, and then the next one is so that was waxing. This is waning. Is it waning? Sorry, waning. Sorry, giving back and an introspection, because the illumination now from the full moon is decreasing, and you share this accomplishment and begin introspection and practices and help others on their journey at this point. This is where you've gone through these steps through the moon, the new moon, and you'll get into this energy like you're pumped up, you've got more energy. And then what did I say, Wayne? The seventh one, last quarter, is again it's a half moon, and it's visible the other half period of release and letting go.
Banishing evil and
that's great.
Anything from there coming towards the new moon, it's about banishing and letting go.
See, I knew you would expand on this, but
also protection as well.
Great. And it says evaluate what has served you in the cycle, old habits and thought patterns and material possessions. And then the eighth one is the waning crescent, and it says, so now a new moon is approaching. So you're going in the cycle again, and it's a slender crescent, so it's now visible, and it's time to rest, recuperation and preparation. Rest, meditate, prepare for the new cycle that's about to begin. So you get onto this, rotation of the moon cycles, and oh my God, if you're a moon witch, fantastic. If you're a witch that is sort of uses it when they need to use it, to bump, compact whatever they're doing. This is constant. This is just this perpetual rotation. And I was absolutely dumbfounded when I was writing, I was looking it up and I was doing the little bits of research, and I was thinking, well, I never knew that. You know what I mean? But I knew that you'd know, because you use stuff. Have you any other stuff? It's like not fun facts, but to me, this is really important. If you're somebody who wants to or does use the moon as part of your rituals, as part of your spell casting, I think it's fantastic. I do.
I mean, basically, a full moon is like an ending, a new moon is a beginning. Like you said,
can say that. It's all them in between that bump up your situation. It seems to me is you have new goals as you go on. You make sure you're setting them, or you're making sure you're looking after others, and by the time you get to the waning crescent, you're rebuilding your energy to go back into the next bit, you know. We did have a little chat, actually, guys, about moons on flags. Do you know what? The minute I said that, moons on flags, it just reminded me of the Big Bang Theory and welcome to flags. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there was some. Have you got any of that, or what else have you got? Because mine's a bit of fun facts, like so.
Yeah. In mythology,
Oh,
it is a lot of Greek mythology, I think, as far as I know. I'm sure it's in others, but yeah, I know it's the Greek, like the deities, gods, there's lunar ones, and they're always female. Lunar, got deities and gods that always seem to be female, I think, because of the menstrual cycle. Yeah, so if you're doing spells, you can always use the lunar deities. That book, what I said, Who Built the Moon, it is worth. Or hopefully you'll have it with the last 2 pages. But it is good, but it says like all the mathematics, which I couldn't remember offhand, I handed the book on to someone else. I do that with a lot of my books, and then I think, I should have kept that. But I like to pass my books on because I like to pass on the knowledge,
Yeah, definitely.
When I've had books.
And books seem to be a lost entity these days, don't they?
Funnily enough, I'm sure in that book, it was like everything, the moon, it was like the distance from the Earth to the moon, the circumference of this and the diameter of that. It was always like 19.9 or something.
Yeah.
And that's weird, again, because my number I always see is 911. And I was like, oh, okay, because I was seeing that years ago, that number. So, yeah.
I've got some other podcasts in the bag somewhere.
Because of synchronicity of the moon and the Earth, and we're talking about the lunar cycles affecting things, and everything goes around.
We're not being scientific.
28-day, roughly. Yeah. I say 28 days, but I think if
you've been good enough to stay with us for listening to us to the end, which we really appreciate, because I hope you've enjoyed it. Both of us do. But no, to say we're not being mega scientific, we're not scientists, we're not mathematicians. We do research, and we'll say we researched this and this is what it said. What I'm getting at is I feel it more naturally than a scientist telling me.
To be honest, like, conspiracy or not, I don't care if the moon was put there and there's observers on the moon or whatever. It still affects us, and we can still use it to our advantage.
Yeah, have a look about the gravitational pull of certain, the equator and all that. That has some. I didn't look that up, but Tropic of Cancer, all those areas, and it affects that water and the water within us. That's something I would look up. It's not really like exciting. Oh, yes. There's just a couple of flags that have moons or crescent moons or something. Tunisia has a large Muslim population as we do, and the crescent moon represents the unity of Muslim people on theirs. Singapore has no religious meaning of the crescent moon, but the stars of Plurum represent a growing and young country. Malaysia, it's a flag of a crescent moon representing the religion of Islam. So yes, there's a lot of things. There's one that Bangladesh, it's a full circle moon. It's symbolic of bloodshed of Bangladeshi people in the fight for independence. So there's a lot of significance given into the sun, the moon. But the Turkish flag has a red background and a white crescent moon and a star.
Yeah.
What I've got from that, it's in honour of religious affiliations of the nation. The national white star is the diversity of Turkish cultures and unity and pride.
I think it was a David Icke book that he goes really into symbolism, of moon and
Oh yeah,
stars.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Again,
being too deep.
conspiracy theories or not theories, who knows? But there's a deeper, darker meaning to the moon, the crescent moon,
I
and the
think so.
star
It's on
with
too many,
Islam.
too
Yeah.
many flags to be a coincidence in my
Yeah.
head. But the Cypriot flag, the north, the colours are reversed.
Yeah.
So there's 2 additional red stripes
Yeah.
at the top as well. And this was born. I'm just going to show. It's like being at school. Can you read me this? Would that be with a thingy bob there?
If it's Turkish, it would be
Yeah.
Jiz.
Gizano,
If there's no thing on the bottom of
Emin
the
Gizno,
C.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
C
thought
is
so.
pronounced J.
And it's a lot to do with war things and everything, you know.
Yeah.
And the reason
And
why
a lot,
I'm
do you know,
backing
it's a
off,
lot to do with secret societies when you look at how they use
I think they're
moon
telling us it's like to
symbolism.
do with bloodshed and all that,
But it's
when
not.
it's not.
Yeah.
That is something that we could always go into at another point. But I'm just telling you what we're being told at the moment. But I do think that the crescent moon, the full moon on flags, I was going to say that at the end. I was going to say, I don't think it's everything we're
No,
being told.
there's a more esoterical meaning, deeper.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so.
And
So,
with that,
hang on. There we go.
will close our
Books. Thank you for being with us today in a beautiful Sazlikoi in Northern Cyprus. And we'll see you next time. Don't know, I know what you said, what it's going to be, but I don't like to promise because we might change our minds.
I have, yes, an inkling it's going to be about synchronicity, just because a lot of things have happened recently and of past, but recently where things have, I thought things and someone said something and it's been exactly the same thing at the, you know, oh, like that's, you know, like I dreamt about that. Oh, I was talking about that at the same time.
What's going on, Anna?
Yeah.
That's for our podcast for next time. All right, then. Take care, everybody. Whether you're listening on your podcast platform that you go to or you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, whatever you can do to make us feel supported.
Yeah.
No, really, it would just really help our channel and we'll be able to grow and get some new equipment, to be honest with you. So take care, everyone. You have a great day or whatever you're doing, and we will see you or you'll hear us in a week's time. So goodbye from me, Marie.
And me, Tina. Bye.